Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about the luxury items that simply aren't worth the money. I have bought many luxury items over the years, and if you're a luxury lover like me, I think it's really easy to get excited about all things luxury, but in my experience there are some items which, at least for me, are 100% worth the money. I really get so much joy and enjoyment and use out of, and there are other luxury goods which, in my experience and opinion, I just don't think are worth it. So I thought I would round up my list in this video. I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get started. I did want to do a quick little sale alert as well. So Essence are doing their summer sale currently, and it is absolutely huge. It's the biggest sale I've ever seen on their site. I do have a whole blog post rounding up all my favorite picks. They have a ton of accessories, and the markdowns are very generous. Like, I saw so many Chloe wallets, Chloe SLGs are over 50% off. They also have some great bags as well. Their shoes and their clothing sizes aren't as well stocked, but you can definitely still find some gems. I found several items in my size which were just marked down to amazing deals, from Jimmy Choo shoes to S Max Mara coats, like so many amazing items, and the discounts are very generous. So I would definitely recommend checking that one out if you had something on your wish list. I will go ahead and link that blog post if you wanted to have a look in the description section. And then I also wanted to fit in a quick little giveaway as well. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already know what this is, but it is one of my favorite styles from Saint Laurent, which I am so excited about. So it is the Saint Laurent Loulou puffer in the toy size. This is in the nude color. I did do a poll over on my Instagram stories asking if you guys would rather see black or nude, and generally speaking most people did go for the nude, which is my personal favorite as well. It is a stunning bag. It's great to wear crossbody, and I just love this combination. The leather is so gorgeous, and I just think it's such a fantastic bag, and I am giving this away in this video. So to enter, all you have to do is two things, super simple. Just one, be subscribed to my YouTube channel, and two, say you'd like to enter down below. That is it. It seems you guys really prefer the simple giveaway, so just a two-step process. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you are, then you don't need to do anything, and then say you'd like to enter in the comments below. The giveaway is open internationally, so it doesn't matter where you live, you can enter, and it is only one entry and one comment per person, so no need to comment multiple times. It is just one per person. This one does run until the end of August. I will put the official end date in the description section, along with all the other T's and C's and rules if you wanted to check anything. The giveaway winner will be selected at random, and they will be notified, and then the description section here on this video will be updated once the winner is selected. So if you want to know who won, just check back on this video after the end date. So I think that's everything. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but if I did, I will pop it on screen or in the description section, and good luck to those of you who are entering. So the first luxury item, which I personally don't think is worth the money, is costume jewelry, and there are definitely some exceptions to this. For me, the biggest one are brooches. I love brooches. I have a couple of them right here. So I have my Chanel one and also my YSL one, and I love these. I absolutely overpaid for them. You know, the materials, it didn't cost very much at all. They certainly aren't made of anything fancy, and realistically I was paying for the branding and the logo and the design house. That said, I do really enjoy them, and I do feel like I get my money's worth. But I have owned many other pieces of costume jewelry in the past, from earrings to necklace, and mostly from Chanel as well. And I feel like they're kind of not necessarily the most guilty, but I think their costume jewelry is fairly popular. It's also extortionately priced, and I don't find the quality to be very good. So I've owned the CC stud earrings from them, the ones with the little crystals. I've owned a kind of, well, it's actually just a plastic pendant, which, considering how much it cost, I'm actually embarrassed I paid that much for it, but it was just a really simple chain with a little camellia pendant that was made out of plastic. I've had other earrings from them before, just a few different pieces, and generally speaking I find them nice to look at, but the quality has always been just so-so. They're priced very highly, and for me, I would just rather spend the money on something else. So if I wanted something from Chanel, going for one of their brooches or an SLG, or if I did want to go for jewelry, looking at some other brands, there are so many great ones now doing really beautiful quality jewelry with good quality materials as well, which are actually priced way lower than what you get for much worse quality materials from Chanel. I love so many brands out there, from, you know, Monica Vinader to Missima. They do really nice jewelry, which, you know, it's not super cheap, but they do really last, and I think their pieces are beautiful. And again, you're just getting better quality materials than what you're getting from Chanel, at least in my experience. So for me, costume jewelry in general is a bit of a no-no. There are some exceptions, and I haven't had too much experience of other luxury houses and their costume jewelry, so maybe there are some out there which really do amazing quality items, but the experience that I've had at Chanel has kind of put me off and made me realize I would rather spend my money elsewhere. The next luxury item which I don't find to be worth the money are luxury wash bags, and I want to say specifically wash bags here because I do own makeup bags which are more on the luxurious side, which I actually do really enjoy and I get a lot of enjoyment out of. I don't think they were bad value for money. So one I have is actually a travel case that I use as an everyday makeup bag. This one's from Anya Hindmarch. It can definitely do with a bit of a clean, but I really love this, and even though it's looking a little bit grubby now, I know if I took the time, it is very possible to get it looking as good as new. You know, I don't feel like it's worn in a particularly bad way, and I do find this worth it. But when it comes to wash bags, and here I'm talking about those bigger cosmetic bags, I find them so much harder to keep clean, and I've wanted to get a luxury cosmetic bag so many times in the past, but I've kind of made myself practice with cheaper ones to see if I could really keep those clean and tidy, and I just find it impossible. And I don't know if this is just me, but it doesn't seem to matter how carefully I pack, how many Ziploc bags I use, things will always leak, whether it's shampoo or toothpaste or my cleansers or moisturizers, like whatever it is. And it's one thing if it's just, you know, a cheap bag that I get from the drugstore, the supermarket, like wherever it is, I don't mind. But if it's going to be a super expensive item which is costing me hundreds of pounds, I don't want all that stuff leaking. So I guess it kind of depends on the material going for. I think a big reason why I like this one so much is because it does have the plastic, so again, very easy to maintain. But for anything that's leather and a really luxurious material, for me it's just a big no-no, mainly because I can't trust myself to keep it clean. So this will probably be a personal preference one, but for me, I just can't bring myself to spend that much money on an item which I know I won't be able to maintain. The next luxury item which I would say more to proceed with caution with are limited edition collections, and this is mainly because I think it's so easy to get sucked into them, and I think this because I feel like I get sucked into them really easily as well. And I'm sure there are many brands that do these, but for me the kind of worst offenders, Louis Vuitton, because they just produce so many adorable collections. Every single year they do an animation collection where they do a print on top of their monogram, and it just gets me every time. So I have to like not look at the collections, otherwise I convince myself I need something. And as you can see, I don't always succeed. So these are the 3 pieces that I have here, which I am really happy with and I do love, but I have bought many other things from these animation collections before. I almost always part ways with them because I don't actually need the item. And for me, this is kind of what it comes down to, in that these collections really create that hype and the fear of missing out, and it convinces you to buy things which otherwise you had no intention of getting. So I try and be super strict that unless I absolutely love the item and can't live without it, if I wasn't planning on getting the item otherwise, I try and resist. So the 3 that I have here, one is a coin purse, and this is actually a gift from Dan, which is why I have it, but I do really love it. Not the most functional, but Dan loves polar bears, and so it kind of has sentimental meaning to me. The newest one I got was a bag charm, and I did want a bag charm anyway, which is why I ended up getting this one. And then I also have this little French wallet here as well, and I actually got this one pre-loved. I missed out on the Groom collection when it first was released, so I was really happy to finally get it. But it is a very functional item which I was happy to add. But as I said, I have bought many items which are no longer with me because I just bought them because I bought into the hype. From mini pochettes to little zip pouches, like I've done it all, and whilst the prints are adorable, I only have limited use for those items, so I usually do end up passing them on. So this is one category which, if you buy right, I absolutely think is worth the money, but if you get sucked in like I do and just are convinced by items which otherwise you wouldn't have, then I 100% don't think it's worth it. So it kind of depends on your vantage point. Selectively, I think they can be great, but generally I really try and avoid them because otherwise, again, I just get sucked in every time. Next up are passport covers, and this is a little bit of a mixed one for me again because I have a passport cover. As you can see, it's from Louis Vuitton. I did get it personalized, and I got this shortly after I got married. I was very excited about, you know, getting things personalized with my married name, but passport covers are kind of a useless item, and whilst it does, I guess, a good job of keeping my passport nice and clean and tidy, realistically my passport doesn't really get bashed about too much. And the thing about passport covers, which I didn't fully realize when I got this, is that anytime you actually use your passport, as in an airport, to give to people, they make you take it out. So this is really completely redundant in terms of actually being useful when you need your passport. The only time you can actually use it is when you're not using your passport, when it's just in your bag. And for me, it just kind of makes me feel a bit silly every time I do take this out. I do always travel with it, and you know, it's nice to have something this fancy, I guess, but I guess I just didn't fully realize how redundant it would be. So there I am, you know, in every single immigration queue with my passport and my cover just not really protecting or doing anything. So it depends how serious you take your luxury collecting and your luxury goods. I think in my head this was going to be the first step towards my Louis Vuitton luggage collection, which I mentioned in a recent video. I always thought I would get a ton of really nice luggage, and that whole idea has just lost its shine for me. So now I'm just left with my passport cover, which, whilst a beautiful item, pretty much doesn't really get a lot of use, simply because anytime I need to use it, I'm made to take my passport out. Next up are tech accessories, and I definitely think this one does depend on the individual, because I do know some people who have very fancy phone cases and absolutely love them to bits, but for me, I would just rather spend my money on something else, and tech accessories kind of cover the whole spectrum for me, from AirPod cases, and I did dip my toes in with this Saint Laurent one, which turned out to be a complete waste of money, because whilst it's very cute with the whole tweed design, I think it's just the sweetest looking thing. It's a little bit small for my AirPods. Like, they do technically fit, but not so well that it actually makes them easy to get in and out. And I ended up much preferring the really inexpensive one that I got from Anthropologie. So this one, just a total waste of money. Similarly, whilst I've never actually bought a phone cover, I've looked at them several times, but I can't seem to bring myself to buy something which I pretty much know is going to have a 2 to 3 year shelf life. Phones seem to change all the time, the covers seem to change as a result, and I do usually change my phone every 2 to 3 years or thereabouts, and I don't want that finite shelf life on luxury goods. You know, they cost a lot of money. Once that phone has kind of been and gone, it's much harder to resell those as well, I think, and I'm usually just really happy with an inexpensive one. I think the fanciest I go are Kate Spade ones, and even then I try and get those on sale, but the one I have here is just from Amazon. I stuck on this kind of handle thing I got from ASOS for like £7, and it just really does the job. I don't worry about things spilling on it because, you know, it's wiped clean, and even if I did have to replace it, I think the whole thing was like less than £20 for me. So for me, I just wouldn't really spend my money. Again, I'd much rather put that money towards a bag. I have always kind of felt that way about phone cases, and I learned the hard way with AirPod cases. The next luxury item, or kind of category of items which I don't think are worth it, are really expensive shawls and gloves. And I specifically want to say shawls here because, as many of you will know, I do enjoy my scarves, which I do think of as different, mainly because they're much more robust, and it really does come down to the wear and tear for me. A shawl I'm thinking of are the much kind of finer ones. Specifically, the one I had was from Louis Vuitton. They do these beautiful shawls which are just the loveliest things. They do them in the most incredible colors, but if you've owned one, you will probably know that they are also extremely delicate, and I am pretty careful with my luxury goods, and even with being on my best behavior with my shawl, it still snagged like crazy, and it was just so upsetting to me. So I sold it really quickly after I got it because I just couldn't bear to see the wear and tear on something that expensive. Whereas my Burberry scarves I've had for years, I wear them all the time, and they still look good as new. You know, I don't tend to snag them on anything. They seem to be pretty robust, and I just think they're fantastic. So whilst I love scarves, I do not love shawls in my experience. Similarly, gloves is another area where I just don't think it's worth it for me to spend money, and these ones are, I think, from Neiman Marcus. They weren't expensive. I think they were like $40 or something like that. They are full leather, so I actually think they were a great buy, but I don't tend to wear gloves very often, so I don't really get my cost per wear down. But more than that, when I do wear gloves, it's usually when it's completely miserable weather and it's super, super cold or snowing, in which case the elements really aren't there in terms of a nice safe environment for my luxury goods. I certainly don't want to be venturing out in the snow, getting them damp and dirty if the gloves in question cost many hundreds of pounds. So I'm happy to have a nice pair of leather gloves. I don't think you have to spend a fortune to get a nice pair. These have done just fine for me, and as I said, they were really, really inexpensive comparatively. And again, I just wouldn't be comfortable seeing any kind of wear and tear on anything that expensive. So it usually does come down to that for me. If I know I can keep the item in good condition, I'm usually happy to spend the money. But when it comes to something like gloves or shawls, I just don't think it's worth it, and it's not worth the heartache for me to see them damaged that way. Next up is a category that took me a long time to learn my lessons from, but it is luxury skincare, and there are definitely some exceptions to this rule. I'm thinking really here of a few brands which are super extortionately priced without any justification for the ingredients, and the more I learn about skincare and the older I get, the more I'm kind of horrified at some of the purchases that I used to make. And again, I absolutely think there are exceptions to this. I still love many luxury skincare products. I still think the SK-II line is fantastic. I use Elemis products on a daily basis. Sunscreens, I always think it's so worthwhile to invest in. But then there are other brands and other products that I really don't think are worth the money. And here I'm thinking of the Hermès and the La Prairie's, and there are so many brands out there which are not only expensive, but like super, super crazy expensive. And I've got to say, even I do enjoy the La Mer eye cream, like it just feels nice on. But after doing my research for the ingredients, I know I can find better value for much less. And certainly some of the products that I've tried, you know, I think I've tried not quite the whole line, but a good few of their most popular products, I've been really underwhelmed with, from their general moisturizer to their body cream, where I hated the scent so much. The prices were on another level, and it really did just make me realize that after not seeing any difference or any results, I'm pretty much just paying for those very fancy concessions that they have in Selfridges and fancy department stores. And again, the more I learn about skincare, the more I realize that it's actually way more worthwhile to spend money on quality ingredients. So for me, the best thing that I can spend money on is this cream. So it just comes in a very unglamorous little tube. This is a tretinoin cream, so for short it's just Tret, and it basically is a prescription cream that helps target pigmentation, which is by far my biggest skin issue. And this little tube, which definitely not cheap, it costs £80, so this is very expensive, but it does last for ages. But this has done more for my skin than hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of pounds worth of luxury skincare combined. So I would definitely say it's worthwhile to do your research when it comes to ingredients, and it's not to say that all luxury skincare is bad. I don't believe that's true at all. If you find a product that your skin loves, because everyone's so unique, I would say, you know, still stick to it, obviously. But when it comes to those brands which just kind of suck you in with their beautiful concession stores and their luxury packaging, I really have to try and stop myself, because I know that I want to pay for quality ingredients that actually make an impact rather than just very fancy marketing and product packaging. And last but not least, the last category of items, which for me, I don't personally think are worth the money, are luxury advent calendars. And this has taken me a really long time to, I guess, come to terms with it, because luxury advent calendars, they're just so exciting to me. You know, I love beautiful packaging. Opening up each window is always so exciting, and I've had a lot of different ones in the past, from the Jo Malone one to a Dior one, a bunch of beauty ones, which I think the beauty ones can be a fantastic value for money, certainly from, you know, Space NK, Cult Beauty. You know, there are so many really nice ones where you actually get really, really great value for money when it comes to the products. But I feel like the higher end you go, I'm not always sure it's worth it. And the Jo Malone one in particular, I did get for Christmas, and whilst it was beautiful and so exciting to open up, I actually realized that I'm not a huge kind of perfume experimenter, which meant that the vast majority of the calendar was redundant for me because I just don't like that many fragrances, and the ones that I do I'm happy to stick with, but I'm certainly not someone that tries a new fragrance every single day or mixes and matches, and it was just something that I was never going to get value for money from. So that one was probably a little bit more specific to me, but now I see the rise of so many really luxurious advent calendars, and here I'm thinking particularly of the Chanel one that we saw last year, which sold out really quickly and was priced incredibly highly. And I know so many people were just disappointed with the contents. It did come in that amazing kind of box shape like the bottle, and I can imagine it must have been so exciting opening it up. But from what I saw, the items inside really weren't worth the money. I think there were stickers and hair ties and a few beauty products, but nowhere near to the value of the overall item. And from both past experience and also observing, like for me, I just don't think that's worth it, and I would much rather put that money towards something which I actually think I'm gonna have in my life for more than just, you know, the day that I'm opening the advent calendar or even the month. So again, I think that there are variations here. I think beauty advent calendars can be fantastic value, but certainly when it comes to the really high-end ones, I think you're getting less and less value, and you're paying more for the branding and the overall marketing of that product. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my points in the description section below. Let me know if you have any of your own luxury goods or categories that you also think are a waste of money in the comment section. I would love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, please do give us a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.